What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your boy Ash Redux and the man, the myth, the legend himself, King Kiba, the Keyblade Assassin, aka Kiba.exe, Mega Man himself, the dark skinned Trey Songs, Mr. Steal Your Girl Part 2. I just talked about you for about 5 whole minutes and just said my name. Nobody knows who I really am, but who cares about me? We just gonna get it started. Welcome to the Critical Zone podcast, The Zone. Welcome. Now, as always, we talk about the latest and greatest gaming news here. We also go, or worse. Now, today we're gonna be going over mostly gaming stuff. We will like to try to go over things anime related, movies, comics, you name it. Who cares? We cover it all. If it's nerdy,
we got big plans.
Big plans in the building.
So stay with it.
So I actually want to start one place before we go to and everything else.
Okay.
I sent you the link for it and everything. So as we all know during this time, it's December 13th, 2020, as we're recording this. So we've all been experiencing scalpers as of late. We had a lot of new tech come out.
All of us. Let's be honest, you and me ain't really trying.
You're right. The world has been experiencing scalpers of different PC hardware components, but mostly as of right now, we're talking about PS5 and Xbox Series X, mostly PS5 shortages that I've honestly been saying mostly about PS5 is what.
I have not seen a single thing about the Xbox.
Yeah, really PS5. But back to the topic at hand. So I sent you a link. Yep. Now, like I was saying, the title I'm gonna call this one is "Retailers Are Scalpers Too?" ? And that's not even exactly what it sounds like. I don't really mean scalpers like the traditional sense of they're buying it to resell it potentially. It honestly looks like in this case, some of the employees are buying it potentially just for themselves even before consumers have a chance to even get into the store before it opens. So in this article I found, basically somebody had caught the fact that employees at this Walmart were taking the PS5s before the consumers were able to get their hands on them. So like they just got a shipment in, they just got a shipment in, and they are basically, I guess, purchasing these PS5s before consumers can, because it's 1 a.m. when this is being filmed. Okay. The only reason I know that is because in the video, I guess the manager, whoever was in charge at the time, was like, I didn't know. He's literally said, I didn't know people would be lined up out here at 1 a.m. And I'm like, how did you not know that when literally everybody has a shortage of PS5s?
You're also a manager, so you kind of should know.
Like that's a lot. Two, why you letting everybody, if everybody is in your store as an employee buying up the stock before people, obviously people want it. So that's another reason you would know. Because so the video takes place and people are getting mad. They're literally lined up outside. It's December. It's cold in the United States anyway. I'm sure it is in other places, but this is in the U.S.
It also depends on where in the U.S.
That's technically fair, but seeing that people look like they were covered up, they had like hats on stuff. They was cold. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. They lined up outside because they know PS5 shipments are coming in. They want to be the first ones to get in there. They want to get it, purchase them, give it to their kids on holidays, blah blah blah. Give it to their boyfriends, whatever. Who cares? Girlfriends. Everybody's included. People play games.
Correct.
But point is, they lined up out there, and he says, "I didn't know that people be lined up at 1 a.m." And what makes it worse is right before that, I guess they had noticed that like the employees were like scanning PS5s up front or something. Maybe I don't understand how they knew. I don't know if maybe the store manager came out and asked, why is everybody lined up? And they said, we want a PS5. And he was like, because one of the things he said was, we only have 4 left. And they're like, excuse me? Y'all were supposed to be getting a shipment today. And you only have 4 left? Y'all didn't even open. You can't only have 4 left when you didn't even open yet.
How did they know? One, how did they see the people buying it? Or did they just assume? 2, how did they know how much shipment was in there?
I don't know, but
like, how do you know store stock? Like, nobody should be talking about that. So, like, how is that information that is like?
That's true, but they ain't only gonna get 4. Like,
yes,
hold on, that's possible.
We've seen it happen. Like, don't say that. We've experienced it in real life, working at Best Buy.
But yeah, so
that's very weird.
I don't know how it started because from when they were filming it, but all I know is he's already out there. He's already talking to him about the PS5. People are already starting to get upset at that point. So the fact that he said we only have 4 left means that they definitely, at least the way he worded it, they had more beforehand. So
Right.
what I'm assuming is that from everything how it's set up, these people were already in line before 1 a.m. because this video was
Yeah.
recorded at 1 a.m. when he said I didn't know people would be lined up. So either it was like before 1 a.m. or maybe that they just told him we've been here since 1 a.m. Either way, they were there before the employees got there. The employees get there, unload the truck, and start, acquiring these PS5s off the trucks for themselves, while people are literally been outside in cold weather waiting just to try to get a PS5. Now, I know when we were at Best Buy, there would definitely be times where people like get stuff beforehand, but it wouldn't be like this. It wouldn't be like for launch because I strictly remember during launches for stuff because I was there for I forget what was coming out and they had like the whole be there at midnight, pick it up or whatever and stuff. But you couldn't get something on launch unless you like acquired it through normal means like a person, but you couldn't just go in there, ring yourself out for it or whatever, have someone else ring you out because you technically can't ring yourself out.
Correct.
But you couldn't do that. You had to wait at least until the next day, and if none are being on, none's pre-ordered, none's on hold or reserved, you can just do that at that point because you're there, you see it, no one's waiting for one, you just buy it, whatever. But otherwise, you had to be like everybody else and try to pre-order it or whatever.
Right.
So
So
I'm just like,
that makes a big difference.
I know it's not the first
And it's
day
like,
anymore,
right. It's not the first day anymore.
but it's so
it's kind
short on stock. It's like,
supply.
and people are obviously lining up for trying to get one. So it's like it's kind of
Yeah, right. It's real crazy, and I think the I guess the most interesting angle about this is the fact that the the employees are technically consumers as well. So,
Mhm.
and the company or that store specifically is still going to get the money because someone's buying it.
Right.
And like you said, it didn't seem like they were purchasing multiples in order to resell them. They were just trying to get them for themselves or their family members or whatever.
Potential.
So, right, potentially. So it's like first come first serve, but
But
as
technically,
an
the customers
employee,
were there first.
right? And that's the other thing. So first the customers were there before the employees, and then second, as an employee, you technically don't get first dibs like that.
At least wait. Like if you at least wait till the
But
store was open, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
and that, but then also it's not the first day anymore. So it's like it's a weird situation to be in, and morally, it seems like you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Morally,
If there
it
was
just
nobody
seems like
outside,
customer is that too. That's the biggest. That's probably the biggest thing because like if they weren't outside like
if there
legitimately,
was no
then
line and someone came in at, let's say the store opens at 9, they came in at 9:01, but you already checked yourself out at 8:59 because nobody was
right.
outside, I'll be like, they'll be like, you sold out already? Yeah, people was outside. The same that you can say that. You'd be like, yeah, people was outside. You should have been here at 1 a.m. like everybody.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But also, it's what is it? It's trying to think because like you said, we used to work at Best Buy. And some things we would get access to, and some things not. So it just don't sound right, and that's the thing. And I think like it would have been good on the manager to be like, hey man, I'm gonna need you to return that.
Right.
The problem is he would get returns for that day, and that would be an issue as well. But like someone would buy it again anyways, so it'd be a weird situation for the system
Yeah.
and the stock. Like the stock might weirdly be like, well, you got a negative, but like by the end of the day, it would balance out anyways. So I mean, but like that might have been the move to make. I don't know if they made that move. I highly doubt it. They probably just said go home, and people are just angry. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All in all, I'm just like this. I feel like that's just not a good look. If it was, if I was in charge of that Walmart, that particular store, and I was the store manager or whatever, I'd be like, what are y'all doing? what y'all doing? Like, if it was me, I'd be like, if y'all wanted a PS5, okay, you got it. Like, if you want to try to get it before store opens, if you get in line before anybody else does, and then somebody shows up after you, so like think of it this way. Let's say you want, I want a PS5, right?
Yep.
I feel like
Obvious.
it would feel fair if I, even though I worked there, showed up, got into a line, even if there's nobody there yet, and I just stand there, and as soon as somebody else show up in line, I'd be like, you see me, this is my name, I'm an employee here, I was here first, I don't even start for another 4 hours, and I'm just here, I am now going to go in the building because I was still here first. At least then they'll be like, hey, that guy was here before me, and I was here at 1 a.m.
Yeah, I really don't know what you would do in that situation because it, okay, so I think there's like a side rule or a slight clause that might consider that insider trading
I mean, he ain't on
because
the
you
clock
have
yet.
insider knowledge.
I mean,
So
people did
like
too.
you
They showed up.
that and I'm going to get to that, but like he had or they would you would have insider knowledge in that situation. So like that's technically, I don't know legally, but like that technically you shouldn't be able to do that because of your insider knowledge. Now, what is weird is that the people who were there knew the stock and knew what shipments were coming in because when they ask us, we'd be like, "Hey, we don't know, maybe." That's what we're supposed to say because we don't want people to act crazy and it's in most companies who are selling things, most of their policies is like you can't give away information that we don't make public. Store shipments are not public information ever because competition can try to um I don't know, finesse their way around it or something. I don't know how they would do it, but they could try. So like store shipments are not public information. So how everyone got that information is crazy to me. Maybe they just assumed, maybe somebody told them, I don't know. But that shouldn't even be information that they have. But also the employee using that information to get something from the store is a little bit on the line and it don't look good as we stated previously.
Now, about to say if that's the case, if someone was away in line, then them even still doing inside the store after getting there after other people would, in my opinion, make it even worse. Then, because if that applies to them in line, then that still should apply to them when they get to work if they're doing it before the store opens.
Oh yeah, on the clock is even worse.
Yeah, they're doing it on the clock before the store is open.
Now, like if I got off at like 9 and I just stayed there, I'm off. I'm a customer at that point. But then again, it's still that insider trade. I don't know. It's a weird situation. It's weird. But in that situation, I feel like if you got off and you weren't going in, because if you were going in, that means you got to clock in at some point in time where the store opened and when they would start releasing those. But if you got off, you off. Like you represent the company, but you off.
Yeah,
so
you're
like,
on the clock.
So that one has a little bit more leeway, but I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah, it's weird. I just know that definitely I will say if I was a customer and I was there at 1 a.m. waiting,
when the store opened, did the store open?
I'm assuming so. Because I know a lot of places, especially after COVID. First of all, I started noticing Walmart stopped being 24/7. Like the one near my house stopped being 24/7. I was like, what's up with that? So
they ain't got the people.
That and then also COVID, like a lot of places have curfews now anyway. Granted, I thought places like Walmart would stay open because it has so much stuff. Like if somebody needs something, because you can still obviously during curfew you can leave the house for something that's a necessity. So it's like, I mean, I'm gonna go to Walmart and grab something real quick then that I need. That makes sense to me anyway. But yeah, but all right. So there we go. Are the retailers scalping? Let us know. Leave a comment if you're watching this on the YouTube version, or able to leave a comment whatever version of the podcast, depending on what platform you're on. If you're able to leave a comment, leave one there as well. Continuing on
social medias and at us.
I mean, yeah, you can definitely do that.
And it's also just real quick. eBay had to come out and condemn scalpers a few weeks ago.
They did.
Because I'm like, but like eBay has been experiencing scalpers since eBay existed. So like, why now they? Whatever. Anyway, I just think it's interesting. We'll see what happens though. I mean, I'm curious if they will all get fired.
I had to put our actual ats for Twitch down there because it still had the CritikalZone at, so I just changed it to hours real quick.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah.
But continue.
Interesting to see if they get fired or something.
Right. Next topic we have here, we're going to the VGA. So the Video Game Awards were just a couple days ago, right? Was that last week?
Correct.
I don't even remember.
It was last week, but it was also a couple days ago.
Fair.
Because it is December the 13th.
So I just want to go over. Okay, Trey. You good?
We can't hear it, so.
Tripping. But so yeah, I want to go over a couple things for the Video Game Awards for 2020. First, real quick, this is technically not one I care so much about going over, even though I have my own opinions anyway, but I just didn't care that much about going over. But I still want to go just a little bit. When it comes to winners for the different... Oop, oh, that didn't matter. Okay, good. I thought I messed you.
We are. Take no L's.
That's
straight
big
dubs.
You ain't lying. When it comes to winners for the different categories, is there anybody, or I guess any category for any game or any person that you felt didn't deserve a win, or felt like some just else from that roster should have won, or even if it wasn't a nominee, something that you thought I guess could even been nominated over something else, but mostly focus on the winner. Do you think that the game should have won? Any one of those? I sent you the list, I think.
Yeah, I got it. Best performance. A whole. Now look, I ain't played or watched The Last of Us Part 2.
I at least
so
watched.
Laura Bailey probably went off, but my man Jeter, come on. How y'all gonna do my mans like that? But continuing with The Last of Us Part 2, it's interesting that they won so much. And this the VGAs are critics and people votes, right? Or is it like a panel? I can't remember.
I know when it comes to nominees, it's strictly people in the industry who do the nominations. When it comes to the actual voting,
I think it's everybody who actually goes to vote.
I think so. I think it's a mixture of both. So like think of like a actual presidential election with like how many votes get with electoral. I think that's kind of how it works. So like the people vote, and then like the more than likely more heavily weighted votes from those in the industry that did like the nominations and stuff. So I'm thinking like maybe one of their votes counts for like maybe 100 normal people votes. I don't know. I forget how they did it. I low-key want to look it up, but keep talking while you go.
Yeah. So like I was surprised that The Last of Us Part 2 won so much, because at least every user who played it didn't have the best hopes for it. But like it won a lot. And I'm just like, really? Like it won Best Action Adventure over Ghost of Tsushima. But I guess, with the traversal and puzzle solving, it probably had more puzzles. I don't know. But like the combat, I don't know. It's like basic combat. It was just surprising to me. I did not expect at least that one. And then I think best narrative that it won too. That kind of got me. I was just like, oh, really?
I definitely wouldn't have given it best narrative.
I mean, a lot of people don't like it because of the characters. From what I know, the characters.
Spoiler alert warning.
Right. I'm not gonna say anything.
Do you care if I say something?
I do care, but don't tell me the ending.
Oh, okay.
Can you do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm cool.
So.
Or any major deaths.
Oh. When What's They Face, I said day, so you welcome. When What's They Face died, right? A lot of people, when that leaked, they were upset about that. I actually wouldn't have been that upset about it. And it's funny because TBH actually brought it up. He was like, I honestly felt like so-and-so had to die. I felt like I saw it coming. Honestly.
I don't even know who you're talking about. And I feel like I can assume who would die off rip. So, and you know me, whenever I go into something, I assume everybody dead to begin with. So,
basically he's like, I felt that there needed to be something that got the game moving, like the motivation
Right.
of playing this game. Like, what am
Which
I
is good
doing?
story
What's the
writing.
cause?
Can't
That's
be
that
mad
part of
about
fun.
that.
So and stuff. Now I did, like some people have an issue with how it happened, because I was like,
Okay.
based off of game one, that's not how I thought that person would have potentially died. It'd be
And I, yeah,
it'd be.
and I
Oh,
got
sorry.
that.
Go ahead.
I got that. I heard that a lot. That's all I really want to say.
Yeah.
Was how. Yeah.
He's like, especially in that type of environment where there's zombies everywhere. You can't trust everybody you meet. Um, sometimes you even got to pick and choose if you will help somebody who looks like they need help, stuff like that. And I'm
Oh,
just,
they added that.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm just saying, like in the actual zombie situation,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Because I'm like, in the first game, if they added that. That's kind of lit. Because in the first game, you just pretty much help anybody. It doesn't really do you worse.
So it's like, if
you might have to fight more zombies.
if you're in a situation where it's like you don't know if you can trust this other person, you don't know if you want to help this other person, if it might put you in more danger, you don't want to risk that, blah blah. So going from the first game with that stuff in real life in mind, going from the first game, you seeing how certain different people treated that world. Going to the second one, like, okay, they experience in this environment, they've been through a lot in this environment, or and whatever, and that goes for every character, honestly. In the first game, they've all
everybody
been
was still alive.
so it's just like when you get to the second game,
you don't live, I don't know how many years, but at least 7 and in zombie world and not, have a lot of experience.
you learned how to survive. You learn what it took. So then, like, you get to the next thing, and next thing you know, oh, okay. So what you're saying is that now you just trust in people, and not only are you trusting people, you trust in people on their own turf. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that really is like, look me in my face. Let's say you helping somebody, all right? You saving them.
I usually don't.
That's first, but second, you saving them, and you go back to their house. Okay. Not only do you go back to their house, you then go with them down to their basement. Now, are you?
I'm already my spidey sense tingling like a mo.
They lead you to their base, like, yeah, we'll go down. Now you already in the they got a nice fence around their house, so the zombies can't get through the fence. They already got other people keeping them. No, they already got people throwing Molotovs at them at the fence. They dying. They not getting in the fence. I'm serious. They are not getting in the fence.
I hear you.
You then follow them into
me seeing the fence in like regular life is just
okay. Well, we're not talking about regular
but now
life. You know what I
in
mean?
this, I had to think about it for a second. We in zombie with I'm like, okay.
This is real. It's for real. This is actually fortified. You know what I'm saying? So you then go into their house, and then you follow them down. They're like, hey, come with us.
I get a gift for saving you.
Come with us to the basement. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go with you to the basement. And then you go down to the basement. And when you go down to the basement, there's a lot of niggas in the basement.
I'm really got my hands on every weapon I got. Yep.
A lot of niggas in the basement. And then, they start talking. And then when they ask what your name is, you tell them your government. You feel me? You just gonna tell them your government.
I'm definitely not doing that. Boy, I don't do that now.
And then after you tell them your government, you notice they looking kind of different at you. Like they've heard of you before. And then you literally look and say, seems like you've heard of us. And then you literally look at them like, it seems like you've heard of us before or something. And you still standing there. Does that sound right to you? Would you do that?
I mean, look, I'm black, so I wouldn't even be there. That's real number one.
If you saw somebody who looked like they wouldn't do that, like, would you? In fact, is there anybody from the first game that you feel like would have done all that?
That would have done all that?
Yes.
I would have felt like Joel would have did it. I feel like he would have did that.
Shoot, Joel was about to leave that one person who was acting like they needed help.
He was about to, but he didn't.
Because of the girl, wasn't it?
Hey.
Did she say stop? And then as he was like, all right, and then they started getting swarmed by people. Look.
I can see him doing it. Old age, you get soft. As I said, I can see him doing it. Yeah, he would be the one I could see. Ellie, maybe. But she was always ready to fight. That was the other thing. She was ready to throw bricks all day. So
my God.
So I would think she would be ready for a fight. So, but yeah,
Well,
like I said, if I was in that situation, one I wouldn't, but if I was, I have my hands on all my tools, my smoke bombs, everything ready to go. Even though I'm probably stuck in the house because they surrounded the house. So like,
well, but yeah. So that and then the actual ending, I didn't like either. That's just me personally. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's so deep though. You ain't looking at it." Like, no, I understood what they were going for. Like, I really did understand. It wasn't hard to understand. Like, what
yeah.
it like. I'm not even. It really is not hard. It's not that deep. It's not something you haven't heard before. Just
Mm-hmm.
existing in life, seeing it in
Mm-hmm.
movies and stuff, plenty of times. But it's just like, but it's just so unfulfilling to a lot of
Okay.
people. That's that. And I think that's really the divide. A lot of people felt unfulfilled by that ending, so
Mm-hmm.
they're like, okay. It's kind of to me. It felt like Ace and Unity, where at the end I was like, I didn't do anything. That's what
But
it.
the gameplay was still fire for that
That's fair. Now the question is the gameplay still
game.
fire for Last of Us 2, or is it basically just Last of Us 1, but you can go prone? It's
That's all I've seen that was really different, and
like
some tools.
so. But yeah, it's I don't think it needed all that. I definitely felt like Ghost of Tsushima uh was um was my definite pick for game of the year. It wasn't like super innovative in like a lot of ways, but it took the best qualities of a lot of things for that genre, put them together, made the quality of life good, made the challenge still good. I think it did what it wanted to do and
Yeah,
executed it
it did.
almost perfectly. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why it should have been game of the year. While Last of Us 2, since that one also wasn't innovative, if you look at compared to the first game, it wasn't really
Right.
innovative. It looked good. I think the game looked great. And I thought the performances were great, but the performances were great and the game looked great when the first one came out. So I was like, it wasn't anything new anymore. They didn't really seem like they tried to expand on anything. They made the animations a lot better for like
Yeah,
actual like
that's
hand to hand combat. That was the best part, seeing you try to box square up with somebody in that game. That was lit. I did like that.
okay.
But yes, I don't know. That's just me. I really do feel like it was just the this is Last of Us Part Two. It's a big name. Oh, here real quick. Uh, Winners are determined by a blended vote between the voting jury and public fan voting,
That's what I thought.
but the voting jury is 90%. Fan voting is only 10%.
I do remember that a long time ago. Us finding that.
So basically, the industry voted for Last of Us Part Two to win.
That's it. I mean, hey, it must have done something right for him.
Yes, so
I can't really be mad.
I
And I think because of how different or like I'm gonna say hated it was, that might have been what done it, because I guess people are used to, I guess, the other storylines, so they're like, oh, this is refreshing, because they, especially since the panel of the judges are industry people, they're like, yeah, we're used to seeing this, we're working on that right now. But this game a little different, so I don't know, maybe that was it, but I'd rather move on. So
yeah.
let's do that.
Big reveals for the VGAs.
Yo,
Any what were your favorites, and was there anything that you wish was there? In like some that you had hoped they revealed but didn't. So both of
hmm
those. Which reveals did you like, and which ones did you wish were there?
okay. I'm gonna go with the ones that I wish were there, because that's a short list. I wish I saw a little bit more of God of War 2.
Mm,
I definitely wanted to see that. I saw my lady showed me some really nice art of like spoiler alert. I'm gonna not say it. The lady saw the boy grown up,
I was about
and
to
he had
say
like
it
the
anyway.
same. Yeah, I know. He got the same tattoo that his dad had over his left eye, and
Mm,
his left eye was glowing, and he had the fade. Boy, he was clean. I was like, hey, that's my boy.
boy.
And Kratos. I was about to say Kratos. Kratos is old and stuff. It's fire. I'll see if I can find it and send it to you. But I did want to see that. I didn't expect it, but I kind of wanted to see Spider-Man 2.
Mm,
I imagine the same team that worked on Spider-Man 1 probably worked on Miles, so they didn't have time to work on 2 exactly, or maybe they split up.
Yeah, maybe they had like a smaller but still decent sized
Yeah,
team because it's a smaller game, so I could see it being like a smaller team, the same
right.
engine and stuff. So maybe.
Exactly. So I did kind of want to see Spider-Man 2, but I expect to see it at E3. Um, other than that, not really that I can think of off the top of my. Oh, technically Shin Megami Tensei, because we don't know what happened to that.
Number
What happened to
5.
5? They said E3, it exists. Goodbye. And that was it. So kind of that, but hey, we'll see. But as far as like what I'm interested in, most of the things that announced look cool, and a lot of the things, uh, a lot of at least the first things that they showed were kind of indie, and a lot of them I like. They look really good, and interesting, and it's games that I would play because they seem like they tell a really cool story. That's something different from the mainstream, and but like the problem with them is because they don't get as much marketing or advertisement. I don't usually I'm unable to follow along with them because there's so much in the game going on. But a lot of them I like to look up. So like Tachia, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Don't sue
I
me.
think so.
Don't burn me. Of course, Sea of Solitude, but that's not new. That's just coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Hey, but it's the director's cut. Is it?
Right.
It's new dialogue, new story.
It's royal.
It's basically a different, basically a different game.
Century of Age of Ashes. The only reason I'm excited for that is because it reminds me of Scalebound. Because I really just want Scale.
I want a Scalebound, yo. I don't think he was asking for too much.
It wasn't. There's a formula's already there, technically, in Monster Hunter. But anyway, and I'm scrolling down because I couldn't remember off the top of my head, of course. Dragon Age, I'm low key interested in, even though I never finished Inquisition.
Did you finish 1 or 2?
Boy, I ain't played 1 or 2. I started with Inquisition. You remember? Like, yeah.
That multiplayer actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I know. Crimson Desert, of course. That combat is heat.
It looks like how they showed the new Final Fantasy that they showed during.
Boy.
I was like, dang, that's getting it.
Yeah, right. That look fire. I don't really care about Call of Duty. Arc 2. I didn't expect a sequel for Arc, so that.
Let me clarify that for you. It's Arc 2 starring Vin Diesel.
I knew you were gonna say that. I don't care. I don't even know. Does he like play Arc? Like I don't understand his purpose of being there. I really don't. Like, does anybody really care about Vin Diesel that much? Not that he's not cool. I'm just wondering.
That's what. So in the podcast I did with the open party, that's what we were saying. It was like, who did they really think he was about to look at and be like, oh my god, Vin Diesel? Like, no, it's not like when we saw Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk. That's different. He was. A whole different that's vibe. First of all, that's Neo. It don't matter. Right. Whenever you see Neo, it's Neo. He the one. Then he's John Wick recently. He has recent work that was amazing too. So it's like he has classic work.
Sequels for those that
and recent work. Both trilogies, both amazing.
Not trilogies anymore.
That's fair. So basically, it's like, I mean, it's Keanu. He's not gonna be the same thing for Vin Diesel.
Right. It's just not.
It's just not. Nobody's over here like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Like if it was Terry Crews, I might even be more excited.
It's the Manny from the pacifier. Oh my god.
It's Triple X.
The Fast Furious. Nah,
but it's Arc, so I gotta.
Only the people who watch the pacifier gonna get hyped. Who love the pacifier. I used to like the pacifier. Let me not cap.
I mean, it was fun.
It was a fun time.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking into, and then of course Among Us new map.
All right, okay. And then anything else that you from that list where you like, oh man, I wish this happened, or you was pretty good from everything?
It was pretty good for everything. I mean, of course Mass Effect 4, but I've never played any other Mass Effect, so.
Wow. Yeah. This man has been committing sacrilege. Okay, that's cool.
I always felt.
So you just don't
when I
like
was younger,
BioWare. You just don't like BioWare.
when I was younger, I always felt like it was a Xbox only game for some reason.
So you
So I never really touched it.
what you saying is you just don't like
And also
BioWare.
back then, I didn't play RPGs a whole lot because remember I started with Final Fantasy 13, so
Let me restart
yeah,
this.
I didn't play RPGs that much, so it wasn't really appealing to me. But it is now, and I would totally play the trilogy and the fourth game. I would even play Andromeda. That's the one it's called, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I just there's a lot of games on my backlog, so I'm not about to buy more games that I don't need.
Fair. I had to restart the music because it was being weird. But that's fair. So let me bring me
Yeah.
this raw hill. Bye. All right, so let me go down this list. It's Chia. I'm with that. When it first came up, I'm like, this looked like Moana the video game. What's going on?
Boy,
As soon as I saw a little island girl with darker skin with some melanin going on, and then she hopping around, she hopped on a raft and she started trying to sail away from the island. I'm like, it's Moana, all right, big lit.
it was also interesting. Sorry to interrupt, but it was also interesting that she like became the
Yeah,
like
they
coconut
got a
and the
Super Mario
bird.
Odyssey thing going on with Cappy just possessing stuff. Big
Oh, I
lit.
was kind of thinking of the what is it? I can't remember the original game, but where you hide as like toilet paper and where you become, you know what I'm talking about, where you become inanimate objects and other people have to seek you, and it was also put in COD.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, yeah. So that's what I thought when I first saw it. I was like, oh really? They put that in there? That's kind of cool, but like also not, but like cool. Anyway, go ahead.
You good, you good. I don't know why the music is doing that.
It's cool, B.
So yeah,
It's not cool for them, but
I'm gonna kill it. Maybe I'll add some
yeah,
in post.
yeah, that's smart.
I'll add some. But yeah, so continue. The Sea of Solitude, I actually always wanted to play the original one.
Of course.
I don't have a Switch anymore, but I don't know because it's like if it's basically different dialogue, different game, it's almost like should I play both versions? Like how
I
different?
mean,
I kind of wonder because like when they say new dialogue, new story or everything else that they say, I'm like, is it like that much of a different game? Should I just play both anyway? But yeah, so we'll see. I'll try to.
it makes you feel like a Full Metal Alchemist versus Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood type.
Mm,
You're like, I mean, I heard they're both good, so why not?
Shady part of me I thought actually looked kind of cool. Um, that one I thought when it showed up, that one looked kind of cool. It's not something I'm all like, oh yeah, I gotta play that.
Right.
But it looked interesting.
Mm.
The new Near update is literally just like literally the name is Near Replicant
Right.
version 1. Point blah 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 blah.
Right. It's a patch.
It's a big old patch that you gotta pre-order. You gotta pre-order a patch. But yeah, the Age of Ashes thing, Century Age of Ashes thing. I don't play Smash like that now, so I don't have a Switch. But Sephiroth, it's Sephiroth.
Of course, right. It's Sephiroth.
It's Sephiroth.
Dun, dun, dun,
And I'm pretty sure his down
dun.
smash is when he stabbed the chick from Final Fantasy VII. I never played Final Fantasy VII like that.
I know you have it.
The Flower Girl.
You wanna play that together? I have it on PlayStation 4, so
I do
don't
too.
know how we could do it, but
I have it on PlayStation 4 as well.
yeah, I know you. It was only $10. Why not?
Yeah.
I haven't played it either ever. Again, my first one was 13, so but
people feel real bad for us that our first one was 13 because mine was 13.
But it was fun. I don't care what they say. But what is her name? Aerith, right?
Yeah, that's it. I think so. We might both be wrong. It sounds stupid to people, but it's whatever.
I'm gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's Aerith.
But I'm pretty sure that down smash. I was like, yo, I'm pretty sure. Like that's one of the few things I've seen. There's two things I've seen in that game: her getting stabbed,
of course,
and him being a planet buster and destroying the whole universe. I've seen those two things.
I didn't see that.
Well, that's his ult. You see at the end when he turned into that full like god like that.
Really looks like
So he turns into that and summons a big old ball, and you literally it's a whole like 5-minute cutscene every time he does that attack.
Nope, I'm not listening. I know because the summons back in. I at least know the summons back in Final Fantasy VII took a long time.
Yeah,
like they were half the game. So that was the reason why they needed 3 discs. with
Um,
the summons.
so Sigma actually got me hyped for the new Perfect Dark. I'd always heard people when they took over like older games, they mentioned how good Perfect
Mm-hmm.
Dark was. It was basically supposed to be, well, not supposed to be, but when it was what GoldenEye was, but like
Mm.
a more perfected version of GoldenEye because it basically took everything that GoldenEye did and just made it better. Is what people
Okay.
how people describe it. Uh, and GoldenEye was obviously like a very like uh, a game that people love from back in the day.
Critically acclaimed,
Yeah,
right?
critically game. Thank you. Critical hit. Uh,
Yeah.
so I always wanted to play a Perfect Dark game, but it was old, and Perfect Dark Zero apparently is bad. So
Right.
I was like, oh, people. There was always rumors for like the last couple of years that Microsoft was going to give it to somebody, and it's coming from the studio, the Initiative, which is literally Microsoft's studio to try to get exclusives to rival that of Sony on
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation. So since that studio is literally dedicated to putting out Heat exclusives,
Right.
and since Perfect Dark itself is a Heat game, I'm gonna be looking out for actual gameplay, and
Of course.
after the gameplay come out, I'm gonna talk to people who actually played the original game and ask them like, hey, does this look like it's still Perfect Dark while being modern? And if they tell me, yeah, that looks like Perfect Dark, that looks like a Perfect Dark game. Obviously they haven't played it yet, but if they can tell me it looks good and the gameplay to me looks good, and then I'll probably wait for reviews to come out and reviews be like, oh, the cat mad at you,
Right.
and then if I wait for reviews to come out and the reviews are like, oh yeah, it looked good, then I might have to cop it. I want to see what's up, but I also want to see if the Initiative Studio is a studio that can be like a future trusted thing of yeah, what they put out, they expect it to be fire. Back for
Yeah.
Blood, that's coming from the original.
I am curious. Sorry,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
am curious about how Perfect Dark, because again, like they said, it was a more refined Golden Eye, and I can't remember the studio, but the studio that makes Hitman is making James Bond.
Hmm.
So how is that going to compare now? Are they going to try to compete and be like, yeah, we beat you back then, we about to beat you now, type deal?
Probably. Then Back for Blood from the original from Left 4 creators of Left 4 Dead. That looks decent. I didn't play Left 4 Dead like that, so I'm not super high for it, but it looked decent. It might be a fun time.
Mm,
Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. Excuse me. Now I already knew about this game, but I'm ready to play this game. I'm ready to be the Hood. I'm ready to be Lil John. I'm ready to be
yeah.
not that Lil John, but I'm gonna probably add the sound bites for Lil John and play Lil John just to do that. But, I'm ready. I'm actually pretty ready for that game. I want to see how that gameplay works. Scavengers, I'm interested in the beta just came out for that when they showed it their release. So if you want to play that, go to the Scavengers website to sign up for the beta. They give you the key right away, honestly, and it goes into the 21st, I think. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, so we really should play that then.
Yeah, you can't stream it yet, but we should just
Okay.
play it. They also said don't record it, but how would they know?
I mean, yeah, I can record it and just not put it up. But I
Right.
guess they like, hey, nah,
The old
this
bill when we say y'all can put
right,
stuff
this
up,
old
we'll
bill.
look
We
at it
know
like,
exactly what it looked like.
but yeah, and then I think Hood comes out on May 10th, I think.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, there's a crossover with Forza and Cyberpunk 2077. It's really just the vehicle is going to be in Forza, whatever. Uh, Otherwise, Dragon Age 4, duh for me. Mass Effect, duh for me. Crimson Desert, it's looking like it might be a duh for me.
Right.
um, Arc 2, I don't know what that means, starring Vin Diesel. Uh, Fall
But
Guys got a next season trailer. Outriders got a new trailer, and I've actually been interested in Outriders since that one first was popping off. Um, People who are fans of Evil Dead are probably excited for seeing that coming to getting
hmm
a video game.
yeah,
Um, those are the ones that like kind of got my attention, honestly.
yeah.
From all that Among Us new map, that really got my attention. Um, but for what I wanted to see,
Tell me.
your man was hoping for that new Breath of the Wild to be there. Your
True,
man was hoping for that new Fable to be
cause,
there.
cause next year is the anniversary for Zelda, right?
Yep. This
So yeah.
that's how you always remember. This year is Mario, and the following year is always Zelda. They 5 years apart still. Like
Right.
this is Mario's
And actual
35th,
release time.
so this
Right.
is gonna be Zelda's 30th.
30th. Yeah.
But I believe so anyway. Pretty sure I don't get that mixed
I'm
up.
pretty sure.
Because the last one was, I'm pretty sure, the 25th with Skyward Sword, because Skyward Sword came out on the 25th anniversary.
Okay.
So that sounds about 5 years ago, more than likely. Yeah. Yeah, more likely. But yeah, so I wanted that new Fable. I was hoping they put out that new Fable. They
Skyward
showed me.
Sword sound longer ago.
Really?
Because that was the Wii.
I mean,
2011, dog.
2011.
Big yeah, 2011. Hold on. Hold on.
So that would make.
Oh my goodness.
So is that also the 35th? I guess it is the same. I thought they were 5 years apart.
The 30th anniversary was the 2016.
Yeah, so this is our 35th too, huh? I don't know why I thought they were 5 years apart from each other.
Got you. Hold up. Huh.
Yeah, 2021 marks the 35th birthday of Legend of Zelda. My bad, y'all. I'm all over the place.
So they were just 1 year apart.
Yeah, 1 year apart.
1987 Mario. Well, that was Zelda 2, actually. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I wanted Fable. I wanted Breath of the Wild. Those two were what I was really hoping for going in. If they had shown me any any more, even if it wasn't gameplay for Breath of the Wild, they showed me a little bit more, like, because it was an in-engine trailer, and if they showed me more of the same trailer that they showed before, but maybe showing me like a glimpse of Ganondorf being like fully alive, or even just or him being like more animated, like after you see the body move, maybe you see him walking, does a transformation, gets his like body back or whatever. That would have been lit.
My question is for Ganon, why is he back? We just killed him. Like, this isn't like
you didn't kill him.
Okay, hold on. This isn't like 10 years. Even it's not even like 10 years later. Not even 5. This is like next month. It's not, but like it's.
I mean, it might.
It's
be.
like right. It's like a month later. So like, why is he waking up? We put him to sleep at least. I know that
he was already asleep.
He woke back up.
No, he was already asleep.
Yeah, he came in his whole pig form, dog. Don't play with me.
That was Calamity Ganon. That wasn't Ganondorf.
My God.
That was pure. You literally fought his anger. You fought malice.
Oh my God.
You struggled to fight. I need you to hear me. I'm being serious though. You fought his malice. Calamity Ganon is just.
I'm only taking that from you because you are the Zelda expert here. Because I want to fight you on it.
Hold on,
but I think you're correct.
I'm pretty sure because like you know how they always show you like the like when you're fighting a boss, like the blights and stuff, it'll have like a little subtitle for the boss.
Dark Beast Ganon.
Yeah. So Calamity Ganon is like the primal malice.
Hatred and malice incarnate.
Dark but
Beast Ganon.
His actual body, which you still see in the trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, you literally see the malice still coming from his body. So I'm just like, yeah, man. I hope man's is hard too. I want to be a hard
for me then, because I'm a little lost. Back to the Mario thing real quick. Are we counting when Mario first showed up, like in Donkey Kong?
I don't think so. I think it's the first actual Mario Brothers game is what they count for his anniversary. I think
1985. So that lines up because the first Zelda should have been 86.
Okay.
Because Zelda 2 was 87.
Fair enough. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. I really hope they make it hard, like legit hard to fight Ganondorf, to the point where
even if you're full power.
Yeah, because like how in the first game you could go straight to Ganondorf if you want. Technically, it'll be a harder fight, but you can do it. But if, and I don't mean this offensively, if you play the game on as level difficulty Korean, okay, and you go in there and you're Korean and you just start ranting, I can be upset that I'm saying it, but I can literally link you to some YouTubers who are Japanese or Korean, and they clapped. They go in there 3-4 hearts, butt naked, butterball naked,
wooden sword. Sorry, pot lid.
pot lid, and
I've seen it.
they be clapping. They be they make every enemy in the game look like a joke, and I'd be like, I was struggling with that line on you over here. Said I'm gonna ride on your back and stab you in the neck, and then I'm gonna ride on the fire that I just shot over there, and I'm gonna fly up, and then I'm gonna do all this
Perfectly
and that.
dodge every one of your slashes.
Crazy. But yeah, so basically, I want more from that. Just a little bit. They don't even show me gameplay. I just want something to show me what. If I see Ganondorf and they make him like the most charismatic, handsome, but like clearly evil man. Where like, cause I've seen like fan art where people draw like what they're like, what if they used to be like friends? There's a whole thing in Breath of the Wild now for the sequel. The fan art were like if they were friends beforehand or something. And they be showing Ganondorf looking real clean, like he be looking real, but he look like I mess your whole day up. He and I'm just like I kind of want him to look like that. I don't want him to look like green skin. I want him to look like just Gerudo dark skin, like the rest
I
of the
mean, that's
Gerudo
what
do.
it should look like technically. But I guess if he's a special male born,
Yeah, so
he kind of gets that green from being special male.
yeah, but I just want him to look good. I want him to look like real cut. I want him to look like that nigga. Like
Okay.
I want it bad because I want to
Okay.
and I want to go. I want him to look like what's his name from Magi. That's what I want to look like.
Okay.
The one darker skinned dude always showing off his trapezius muscles, whichever one he is. I don't remember. He's not Aladdin, right? Is he?
Speaking of, I don't know. He shouldn't be because Aladdin is
or Alibaba,
blonde,
or which one he is?
no, blonde one. But are you going to look into Age of Calamity?
I mean, I don't have a Switch.
I know you can't play it, right? So
yeah,
I assume you would.
I mean, I already know what happens. I had to. I had to know because I didn't.
I figured.
Because for all I know, by the time I get a Switch, it won't be until right before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, and I'm like, I already want to know. It is canon, but it technically doesn't apply. I'm sure. No, because are you gonna play it? Do you care?
Not. I probably won't.
Long story short, spoiler. It has a little bit of time travel thing going on. So basically, what happens in that game is the result of a time travel thing. So it's technically everything that happens there is no longer canonical because none of that how it ends happens in the timeline. And they can
branch off and create more Zelda.
Yep, and now they can. Now they can.
What else?
But it's just those two, really. I think there was another one, but those are the main ones. So we're gonna get to the last topic for today. We gonna. I don't think this one will be too long, even though this was the main topic. But I honestly don't even think. Yeah, there's a couple things to say. I just don't think even if we have differing opinion, I don't even think it'll even matter like that. So Cyberpunk 2077. It's 7 years. People been waiting for this game. The hype.
8.
Is it 8 now? I thought it was 2013 when they showed it.
8 in development, so.
Fair. So.
See, cat knows.
I'm upset. But basically, right now Cyberpunk 2077 is getting a lot of heat for its bugs, its glitches, and its optimization on all platforms.
It's also getting a lot of heat for being a good game.
That too. But it's also, even though it's on all platforms, the primary issue is on previous gen. And by previous gen, I mean PS4s and Xbox, Xbox One.
X, yeah.
Xbox One X, thank you. And that whole line. So, and the PS4 Pro, all of them, technically. More so the base versions, though. The vanilla versions are where the real issues are. I think the upgraded versions are a little bit better off from what I heard, but not by much. It's not even worth it by much. So it's getting a lot of heat for that. So questions we're going to cover on this before we end is, do we think that heat is warranted? Do we think CD Projekt Red or even the consumers could have done anything different to help out with this? And there's a few things that just a quick synopsis to give people an idea of what articles we read through before all this and stuff. The Metacritic reviews, I believe it has like a 90 or 91 on Metacritic right now.
That's from critics,
and then user reviews are crazy low. It's borderline. To some people, it's being considered a review bomb. To some people, the reviews are warranted. And then we got
it's gone up since that article that you sent me.
That's good. Yes, Kat. And then speaking on those reviews, apparently, I don't know if this is just CD Projekt Red, but I think I can see it being multiple studios doing this, or at least something similar. The devs actually get paid bonuses based on the review average for the games, at least at CD Projekt Red. Again, I don't know if they do this for all studios, but according to an email that was leaked, CD Projekt Red has already told their employees that, hey, we're gonna give y'all bonuses this time for this game, regardless of what the review scores are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's because they already know people were gonna are showing backlash and they're like, hey, we know y'all worked hard. Here's the game that y'all clearly did a good job on. Like when it comes to actual game, not work. I'm not talking about buzz or anything before anyone gets mad. The actual game itself, at its core, what it's supposed to be, should be a at least good title for most people. Like I feel like most people might enjoy the game, at least to a degree. Uh, then we also have previously, actually before I get to the previous one, also when the reviews came out, CD Projekt Red had reviewers only allowed to use B-roll and footage that they sent reviewers, and reviewers weren't able to use their own gameplay footage until a couple days later for a second embargo, which these reviews were only for PC, which is where the game is having the least amount of issues. It did have issues before the day one patch. The reviewers still experienced bugs, but after day one patch, there's not as much going on wrong with PC. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
PC's least next gen, or I guess now current gen consoles are doing okay, and but they're still technically playing the previous gen console version, so that's why they're still having issues. Once they get updated, they probably won't have issues, and it'll be
Mm-hmm.
similar to a PC experience. Um, and then lastly, but beforehand, while all this is going on, while all sounds like all CD Projekt Red rushed out a game and they didn't care about us and blah blah blah, we also had the fact that not too long ago, CD Projekt Red basically asked for basic human decency as they got many death threats over the previous delay of the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
then there was a lot. It wasn't like a few people, crazy people were just like, "Oh yeah, release the game or I'm finding your family and I'm killing you." Like no, a lot of people sent death threats to these to these developers because the game got delayed. The hype for this game built up so much that no matter what CD Projekt did, in my opinion, people would have been pissed. Um, now, could things have been done different? I think for me, I think that he is partially warranted. Uh,
All right, hold on, hold on, hold on.
oh,
You just said you just said a lot.
okay,
Let's slow it down for the people. So one at a time. Let's go through the questions because you went through all the articles and the questions that we had.
all right,
So
you're
let's
right.
roll back.
Let's start. All right, with the heat being warranted. My short answer is yes. Long answer is yes, but I mean, come on. That's my long answer. Yeah, but come on. Uh, So like the games did start in development for previous gen. So yes, I would have expected the games to at least be playable on previous gen, like at least a semi decent experience on previous gen. Now I ain't gonna lie to you, as somebody who even though I wasn't even a PC gamer at that time, I knew when I saw that game, I was like, that looked like a lot. Like when they first showed it, and that was an early CGI trailer on what they were expecting the game to look. I'm like, that looked like a lot. Like I've never seen a game look like that before. And that's even as time went on, and we saw games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Last of Us
Mhm,
Part 2. As every time I saw it, I'm like, that looks like a lot. That looks ambitious as
mhm.
all can be. And my PS4 already sounds like a jet engine for lesser.
On 2K. For 2K, dog.
So
My PS4
I'm
be
not gonna
like,
lie to
eh.
you for anybody listening. I understand the game should have been better for y'all release. I think maybe at most before I get back, no, let me not go there yet because that goes to the second question a little bit.
Mhm,
Um, but I do think the heat is warranted. I don't think it's warranted as much as y'all are doing. I feel like technically uh both sides are at fault because the small version, because we get to the second one, the consumer could have did more research potentially, and then the company could have released more honest information on where the game was. And that's where I'll stop on that one before we get to the second topic. Go ahead.
So, Heat warranted. Like I said, like you were saying. Um, in my personal opinion, no game should come out unoptimized so badly.
Mhm.
It just shouldn't. That's just wrong. I said this to you before, but I'm gonna say it to everybody else. Um, if I cannot play a game, then why am I buying the game?
Why is
If the game cannot be played to the point where like everything's breaking, why am I playing the game? Why do I buy the game? It's kind of unacceptable
Mhm.
if it's that bad. We all expect bugs from here to there. We shoot, Assassin's Creed when it first came out said the bugs are a part of the animus. They played that shit off.
I thought that was the
It was like, yeah, this
slickest
is part of
playoff
the
too.
animus.
That was real
but like
clean.
but like, we expect it from games nowadays. We also expect game one day one patches, to be honest. But hey, so like it should not have come out, especially on previous gen, in my opinion, if they started with that so bad. On the other hand, they had very big ambitions, and this is CDPR. If y'all don't know CDPR, which a lot of y'all, to be honest, don't, because what y'all people not everybody played The Witcher, and that's what they're known for is The Witcher. To be Let's be honest, they're known for The Witcher. A lot of people who would normally play The Witcher are people like us, kind of nerdy, kind of into the medieval times, stuff like that. So when they said Cyberpunk, it's like, oh, they got a whole lot more people ready to play this game because it's got guns, it's got future, it's got pretty lights. So a lot of new people were like, oh, let's check out this game, but they don't know CDPR like that,
Mhm.
who likes to do their best to one, take care of their consumers. They go all out a lot. And two, they like to try their hardest to make the games bigger and better every time they make a new game. So when I saw Cyberpunk 2077 and I knew it was made by them, I'm like, oh, this gonna be a big ass game. It's gonna be one big Bertha. Oh
Big
boy.
Bertha.
So it's going to be ambitious. It's going to be hard, and they did it in less time than Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15. They did it in 8 years, not 13. So, and we all know how disappointed people were with those two games. So even if they would have spent more time on it, I mean, I don't know if it would have been better. It might have been like they probably would have added more, or something would have went wrong. I don't know. But like game development is hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's really hard. I've dabbled in it here and there, and just from the little that I could do, that's hard. So I almost never will blame the actual developers, like the people who actually do the coding and the art and all of that. I will never usually blame them. It's always the project managers, the investors, people like them, because they're the ones making the decisions 95% of the time. At least from what I know. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So I will never death threat a developer. I can see if you death threat a project manager or something like project lead, because they. But you should really be after them investors because they be the ones rushing and coming up with new ideas. Be like, hey, put this in our game because we want to see our returns and stuff like that. So yeah, see even the category. So
Yeah.
so like that. Never go after the devs, in my opinion, because they just trying to work and give you something, and they're trying to provide you something really good. And the people who work at CDPR really try to make sure you have a great experience. And again, even though the game has a lot of bugs, I've only heard good things about the actual game besides the bugs, unfortunately. But
Right.
I guess that's the biggest thing. So the game does deserve the heat for not taking care of optimization and the bugs and everything. but I wouldn't focus on the devs for that because they worked 100-hour weeks to make sure that this game is good.
What they could.
So
What they could. But
and we heard from past devs and everything in our own articles about how they you know what, that's going into the other stuff. Let me stop.
all right. Now for the second part, uh, what could have gone different? All right. So one, they could have obviously delayed the game further, right? If they want to release it on all platforms at the same time, they could have delayed the
Hmm.
game further and probably just got more death threats.
You know,
People already got they got death threats last time. People were now I do agree that people were upset the last time that weren't like death threaty, but they literally asked CD Projekt Red the day before on Twitter, "Hey, the game not going to get delayed again, right?" And it was like, "No." Next day, delayed. I was like, "All right, now they can be mad." The people who legit
I
asked
remember
and they said, "No,
that.
I ain't got nothing for y'all." They can be as mad as they want. Not death threat mad, but they can be mad. I ain't gonna hold them for
All right.
nothing. Uh, Yo, look, all I'm saying is
Hmm.
that what they could have potentially done is release it separately. Okay, have it just come out on PC, delay the console version, but legit show people like this is what the console version will run like if we release it now. Here is a actual legit online poll. We gonna do whatever y'all say. We will also give y'all a couple days to cancel your pre-orders. Like y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. That's literally the only way they could potentially have not gotten all this. Because at that point, anybody who's still mad, I'd be like, they literally showed you how the game looked. They released it one more week later, so y'all had time to cancel your pre-order. Actually, they didn't even do that. I mean, they could because people might not hear the news immediately. But I'm just saying, if they put it out there and then like a couple days before the game would have came out, and just say, hey, this is how it is. The game has so much hype, it'll blow up. People will show how the textures load in super slow sometimes on the base console
Hmm.
or all the glitches stuff. People would have saw it and be like, hey, that's how it is. Y'all can cancel it. Y'all can wait and buy it now, still get the free upgrade if you still really want to play it right now. All that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I feel like that's the only way they could have got this without getting all the hate. Put that out there, front and center, like this how it look. Then and on PC, this is how it look. All right. We plan on having most of these PC bugs fixed by then. Whatever. Just be super honest, like hurtfully honest. Because right now, I think their stocks went down after the game came out. Even though the
Probably.
game is actually still good, so their stocks went down after people started talking about all the bugs and stuff and
I mean,
everything.
they made their profit in one day.
They
So.
did. But then I'm like, so the stock. I feel like if they're worried about like how the review of it would have been beforehand, and stocks would have went down. If they still went down anyway, it wouldn't have mattered. Obviously, that's a hindsight thing, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, you might as well just been upfront, super upfront about it. But then also it could have done different, not getting super pissed off every time they delayed the game and not sending death threats when they delayed the game and
People really just need to chill out.
the
Like
hype
that's the
was
biggest
and
thing.
the hype was too big. Now I ain't gonna lie. When I first saw it, I was like, "Wow, that's crazy! That looks amazing."
Hey, you know me.
I
I chilled all my hype down for every
I
game.
mean, I didn't watch anything other than when trailers popped up during award shows like E3. That's the only time I didn't look into the game, nothing. I was just like, man, that looks really ambitious. I just want to play it because it's by CD Projekt Red and it looks ambitious. I would like to see what their ambitions are. That's the only reason why I was hyped at the
Hmm.
at the potential without even knowing what they were doing. So at that point, as long as I didn't like go into my own head and imagine a bunch of crap, I was fine because I didn't look up nothing. So
All
I
right.
was good. But everybody else is like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the best game ever. It's gonna be the best game ever. And I still think it's very capable of being like top tier, especially if you're not playing with all the bugs and stuff. But I'm just like I went in just knowing CD Projekt Red isn't gonna give me legitimately a bad game. Now they might, they gave a very unoptimized game depending on what you're playing on. I ain't gonna hold that, but like that's what I was saying before. I feel like to me, the game itself, if they have put out the game at how it's supposed to be, or people didn't buy the game immediately and got it later after it was patched up, I feel like everybody would be like, "This game's great." But I do understand what people said. This was EA. The
Mm-hmm.
streets would have been on fire. So
On fire, but even though we would have expected it from EA.
yeah, that's the other thing too. But yeah, so that's me. I'm gonna let you wrap up your fun real quick.
I'm sorry, I just saw the I went to the current PS4 games and their ratings on Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, their ratings and on Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just interesting to see that The Last of Us Part 2 is does have a 93 while Ghost of Tsushima has an 83. And I was like,
Lit.
that's interesting. Yes. That is the ratings on PS4 Metascore
And
by
that's
critics.
yeah, that by critics. I'm just saying.
By critics because the users gave it a 9.2. It has an 83.
And what did they
Just
users?
so y'all know, the users is out of 10 and critics is out of 100.
What did the
Um,
users give Last of Us 2?
good question. Let's go.
Now, granted,
5.7.
and you know what? That's not even a review bomb because that sounds right. Because when I was seeing
Mm-hmm.
stuff, people it literally seemed like it was halfway. Because that's it. Either you liked the story or you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really
But
feel
like,
like even if the gameplay wasn't like anything crazy, it wasn't bad gameplay. So nobody
yeah,
was pissed at the gameplay per se.
right,
It was just that you liked the story or you didn't.
right. But I just saw a review for by game critics on Metacritic, and it was like they gave it a 50, and they were just like repetitive task at my own place, at my own pace. Uh, even though it's the same sort of boilerplate open worlder that Ubisoft tosses out every month. I'm like, oh wow.
Every month. Okay.
Right. Uh, they're the tedious critical path missions and okay, sorry. Let me say it word for word. That said, every time Tsushima subjected me to its dreadful story and the tedious critical path missions, my patience wore thin. I'm like, boy, they said this is an underwhelming note to end the PS4 on,
Wow, crazy.
even though it pushes the technological boundaries while taking zero creative risk, is a fitting end for this
Did they
generation.
beat the
I'm
game?
like, look,
I'm gonna tell you
that's
something
why
right
I'm
now.
just like, that's
I'm gonna
wild.
tell you
You
something.
said the story was so like. Anyway,
I could legit go to
this is
YouTube.
off topic, y'all. We
Wait, real quick. I
apologize.
can legit go to YouTube right now. Pull up a video someone made for one of the channels I'm subscribed to of people reacting to the end of the game, and people are in tears. And I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I feel like nobody was crying at the end of Last of Us 2, but all right. There really isn't a reason to cry. The end of Last of Us 2, not even like a me not liking the end, and there's really not a reason to cry at the end. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, just saying, one of them got people in tears, got people like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, because you actually make choices at the end of Ghost of Tsushima as well. So people are like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do. What do I do? People on their live stream like, chat, help me, because I don't know what to do right now. And no matter which one you pick, that fire. I'm disappointed now that you told me. I never looked
But
at the
anyway,
Metacritic score for that.
back on topic for Cyberpunk.
Now we going
We
back to the
apologize.
VGAs. Bump. Last of Us 2 should
No,
have won. Jack.
we so Cyberpunk. What was it? The what could have gone different? Like you said, honesty. And again, we seen a lot of people, whether or not, because they won't obviously tell us their sources, but we see posts that say like past dev of CDPR talks about how terrible it actually is to be working on this project right now. So
Yeah.
so what could have gone different? Project management. Because I saw one article one time where they talked about CDPR typically is like, hey, yeah, we'll be able to get this game out, but then they mess around in like the pre-planning stage, which forces them to crunch, in the in development stage.
Mm.
So it's like it's again, it's I don't know exactly the title or whatever, but it's those managers and those leaders, the people who actually make the decisions,
Mhm.
they're the ones at fault here, and they're the ones that should have made sure that And I get marketing. You got to market things to make them look like they are worth it. But like, at least for me, again, CDPR is about making sure the consumer has a great experience.
Mm.
And for consoles, last generation consoles, not a good experience. So somebody was not adhering to the, I don't know, the motto, the mantle, whatever. Somebody
Gotcha.
put on the Batman suit and started not saving people.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's
uh,
that's kind of how I feel about it. Like you said, it's just they should have just been honest, said, "Hey," because COVID happened. Like maybe they were actually going to be right with the release date of April,
yeah, we do also have to account
but
for the fact that
COVID
COVID
hit.
happened.
So like that shit hit different for real. So so that destroyed everything. I'm sure.
And I
Like that put a halt into so many people's livelihoods, plans, money making, all of that. So I imagine that didn't go too well for game developers either, because they're usually in an office.
it's true.
So that could have gone differently.
Mhm.
But ain't much we could do about that.
Yeah. The only other thing I could think of too, before we wrap up with final thoughts on anything today, is it's just not giving a release date, low key. Like
Mm-hmm.
I forget when they what the first release date they ever announced was, and not like a because even a TBD with a year, even that's like I don't even look at those to be disclosed, but then they put a year like, oh yeah, it's coming out that year. We just don't know when that year. I don't even look at those for real, or even like early or late or mid that year. I wait until I see a month. Until I actually see a month in a year, I don't really
Yeah.
care about what release date. I just be hopeful. So if they say
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, it's coming 2021, all right, hopefully. And then if they change from there, I'm like, that's cool. Especially if I don't hear anything until like towards the end of that year, I'm gonna assume it ain't coming out this year. That's fine. They'll say something during some award show or some press conference and be like, yeah, y'all, we gonna have to delay it. I'm like, all right, that's cool. You do you. But they had at least two or three times where they said it where they had like an official date. Because I think it was like early this year, and then it went back to a couple of months ago this year until the most recent one that brought it to now this year. So I think they had three different official like to the day release dates for just 1 year. Um, if I remember
Mm-hmm.
correctly, at minimum two, but I think they
Yeah,
had three.
I think it was all three, because it was
So
April 16th,
mm,
then October something,
there
and
you go.
then December.
Yeah.
I think there might have been a fourth one, but I can't
Yeah, no,
remember.
there was because after October, that because it was supposed to come out a couple of weeks ago from when it came out, I think. So I think maybe it was supposed to come out in November and then they pushed it back a little bit more.
You might be right. I don't remember exactly.
Who cares? Point is, got delayed for you a lot of times. But honestly, it's like maybe if they just didn't have until they were like legit done. And it sucks because I think it's like you said, it's part of like the whatever, however they're organized. Because it's not a U.S. based company, so it's not like well, at least it might not be because I don't know how they do things over there. But if it's not
Mm-hmm.
like a publicly traded company with shareholders who expect results and want to see their money come back to them and blah blah blah, who would then be pushing the the managers to get the game out a certain date because they need to make that money and they want it during that fiscal year for outlooks on stocks. They want certain things to make certain things happen. And I get it for
Mm-hmm.
the business part. It's still a business. At the end of the day, all of these are still businesses that are trying to make money to support the people that work there and so that the people up there can have the money that they supposed to have running the company or whatever. So I get it. It's still a business. Um, and I do think that's something the consumers, video game consumers especially, skip out on a lot and remember that it's still a business. Uh, these people ain't, a lot of these people might not even like the game they making.
Bro, yeah, okay. Real quick analogy that I just thought of. That's like going, because, oh my God. I feel like our generation, the younger people, are more considerate, but sometimes we assholes too. But like that's like because I was okay. Anyway, that's like going into a grocery store
Mhm.
and then yelling at. Sorry, no. Let's we have experience. Let's like going into Best Buy
Okay.
and saying, "Hey, y'all don't have this in the store," and when we say no, and you say go check in the back, and we actually go check in the back sometimes,
Let's be honest.
and we don't have it, and then throwing a tantrum and saying you're going to kill us and you're going to stalk us outside. Cause I'm legitimately, these are real things that have been said, by the way, not
Mm-hmm.
just to me and not on and not yet. This has been really happened. You're gonna kill us, stalk us. I'll see you when you're outside. I hope you die. I'm going to a different Best Buy. You know, the lighter stuff.
I'm gonna go
Even though
to.
we offered to call the other Best Buy to see if they have it.
Even better. I'm gonna go to Walmart. Okay.
Yeah, stuff
I
like that.
don't care.
That's like doing that to the worker when they have no control over shipment products that they even get because Best Buy don't make Sony headphones. Sony does that. They decide how that Best Buy gets it. So like, how are you gonna walk in, say all that shit to me just because I'm working there because you didn't get what you wanted or how you wanted it? Like, bro, what am I supposed to do? I'm just trying to live. I'm trying to pay these bills, bro. Get out my face. Like, it's ridiculous. So that's why I keep saying the devs they don't deserve it.
They don't.
So a lot of time, like we say, you gotta. It's a business. You gotta realize the people who are really the issue. And like you said, sometimes they don't even want to be making the game they be working on. Like some actors don't want to. In case y'all don't know, some actors in the movies that they're in, they don't want to be in those movies. I want y'all to know that. Like I don't know if y'all care or not, but Twilight, the actors in that movie, they didn't want to be in that movie. They did not want to be in those movies. They said it from the mouths themselves, from their mouths.
But if
They
you can
did
put
not
on the
like those
performance that
movies.
they want and they sign you that check, I mean,
Exactly.
unless it goes against your morals or something, why wouldn't you be in? Why wouldn't you get the bag? You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at them. Like that's how it is.
I
As
can't be.
long as it don't
But
compromise
sometimes,
you.
but like so, we know Michael B. Jordan is a good actor, and Fan Four Stick, as we call it, that was not a good movie. He did not do good in that movie. Correct? Why was that the problem? The writers, probably the producers and the directors, the people who make the decisions.
Right.
So if you get anything out of the day, be nice to the people actually doing the work.
In fact. All right. Well,
That's my closing
that
statement.
must say your final thought. I'm just making sure. I'm making sure.
We always leave with a lesson.
But all right. So yeah, that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all for coming through. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're on one of the podcast platforms, thank you for watching the video. If you're here on YouTube, uh, don't forget to make sure you follow us both. If you're watching the video version, you can see both of our ats down below. You can clearly see who that is by our names right above. So you can follow us both anyway. We really should be following us both. You should be following us both. Trying to look at the camera.
We make entertainment things. Entertainment things. Entertaining things.
There you go. And then we also have our own social medias, personally for Twitter and stuff. But you can also check us both out on Critical Zone at Critical Zone for Twitter and on YouTube for our combined stuff. That'll be for our podcast, our joint podcast here at the Zone when we do reviews and such. So make sure you go follow us there for all that stuff as well. Last but not least, since you rocked out with us today, since you were here, I just want you to know that the first 500 listeners will get $500 each from Kiba. And Kiba, we talked about this. I thought you looking the wrong way. There you go. I thought we talked about it.
You ain't reverse me?
I don't know. You've been looking straight this whole time, so I didn't know which way I needed to do it. You were, in my defense. All right.
That's fair.
But yeah, so ignoring that part. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We
You
appreciate y'all.
receive love
Oh,
and affection. That's what you will receive.
from him, not from me. But
Correct. I didn't say what kind of affection
that's fair.
either.
But yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. We're gonna be doing this more often. I ain't gonna promise y'all nothing, but hopefully
Nope.
we'll be able to put it out uh, in a semi-regularly basis so that we can actually stay on current topics around the time they actually happen.
Right. We stream as well, so you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Always catch us on our
You'll be able to
Twitch
keep
stream.
live with what we're doing.
Also, lastly, but like I said, this is on December 13th. I don't know when you guys will be listening to it. This is the first one's getting uploaded. It might take some time before they get approved on those different platforms. This is the first one that's going up there. So if y'all hear it later and it sound like old news, I said December 13th in the beginning, and don't add me. Actually, do add me, because then you at least got to be on my page. So add me. Never mind,
add me, bro. Add me, bro. Add me.
Okay, you getting aggressive. Anybody listening, is this abrasive Negro's voice bothering you?
All right, okay.
So I watched Fresh Prince today. All right, so yeah, thank you all for tuning in. And as always, you ain't gonna say it. You ain't gonna say it.
Keep it critical.